From a distance, space looks empty, silent, almost peaceful. A black canvas stretched between worlds, broken only by the cold light of distant suns. But that emptiness is a lie. The space between planets is not still, and it is not safe. It is alive with something the human eye was never built to see. A constant, invisible storm of radiation, crossing the void at nearly the speed of light. It passes through metal, it passes through bone, and it passes through us. For all the engineering challenges of leaving Earth, the rockets, the life support, the landing systems, there is one barrier quietly waiting at the edge of our planet's protection. A barrier that may decide how far the human species can ever truly travel. This is what space radiation does to the human body, and why it is one of the greatest threats we have ever faced. To understand the danger, you first have to understand what Earth does for us. Our planet is wrapped in two invisible shields. The first is the atmosphere, a layer of air dense enough to absorb and scatter most of the harmful particles arriving from space. The second is the magnetosphere, a vast magnetic field generated by Earth's molten core. It bends charged particles away from the surface, funneling them harmlessly toward the poles, where they burn out as auroras. On the surface of Earth, we live beneath both of these shields. They are the reason life exists here. They are the reason our cells, our DNA, our nervous systems evolved in the form that they did. Step beyond them, and the rules change. Above the magnetosphere, the human body becomes exposed to the raw environment of space, an environment it was never designed to face for long. The radiation in space comes from three main sources, each with its own character. The first is the sun. Our star is not a steady, peaceful light. It is a nuclear furnace that occasionally hurls vast streams of charged particles into the solar system, events known as solar particle events or solar storms. When one of these storms reaches a spacecraft, the dose of radiation can rise sharply within hours. The second source is far older and far stranger. Galactic cosmic rays are particles accelerated to near light speed by distant supernovae, the exploded remains of stars that died long before our own was born. They arrive from every direction, constantly, with energies so high that no thin layer of material can stop them. The third source is closer to home. Surrounding Earth are the Van Allen belts regions where the planet's magnetic field has trapped huge quantities of charged particles. Spacecraft leaving Earth must pass through them, and the dose rate inside is intense. Together, these three sources form the radiation environment of space. And there is no moment, anywhere beyond Earth's shielding, when an astronaut is not being struck by them. On Earth, most people think of radiation in familiar terms. A medical scan, a long flight, a background dose so small it barely registers. Space radiation is different, and the difference is not subtle. The first reason is duration. An astronaut on a deep space mission is not exposed for minutes, but for months or years. The dose accumulates every second without pause. The second reason is energy. Many particles in space, especially galactic cosmic rays, carry energies far greater than anything produced by natural radiation on Earth. They do not simply pass through the body, they tear through it, leaving tracks of damage along the way. The third reason is shielding. On Earth, we can hide behind lead, concrete, water, or distance. In space, you carry your shield with you, and every kilogram costs fuel. There is only so much mass a spacecraft can carry, and some particles are almost impossible to stop with the materials we have. There is no stepping outside. There is no going home early. The exposure simply continues. What happens inside the human body is happening at a scale too small to feel. When a high-energy particle enters the body, it does not strike the body as a whole. It strikes individual cells, and inside those cells, individual molecules. When it passes through a strand of DNA, It can break the strand outright, sometimes in one place, sometimes in both strands at once. The body has repair systems. They work constantly, stitching DNA back together. But under heavy and prolonged radiation exposure, those systems can be overwhelmed or make mistakes. Damaged DNA can be miscopied, mutations can accumulate, cells can die, or worse, survive in a damaged form and begin to divide abnormally. Over time, this produces a set of effects that every long-duration astronaut has to reckon with: elevated cancer risk, degenerative changes in tissue, damage to the cardiovascular system, and a form of long-term biological stress that the body never fully escapes. It is not dramatic. There is no flash, no pain, no warning. The damage is cumulative, and it is quiet. Some parts of the body are especially vulnerable. The brain and nervous system are made of cells that do not divide like skin or blood. Damage to them is harder to repair, and the effects can be long-lasting. Studies on rodents exposed to simulated space radiation have shown changes in memory, in decision-making, and in behavior. The concern for astronauts is cognitive decline during missions that depend on sharp, rapid judgment. The eyes are another concern. Astronauts have reported seeing brief flashes of light, even with their eyes closed, the result of cosmic rays passing directly through the retina and optic nerve. Over time, radiation exposure also raises the risk of cataracts. Reproductive health is affected as well. Reproductive cells are among the most sensitive in the body to radiation damage, raising serious questions for any mission long enough or far enough that crews might consider the future of human generations beyond Earth. These are not risks that appear in headlines, but for a mission lasting years, they are risks that shape every decision. This is where the difference between destinations becomes stark. A trip to the moon lasts only a few days. The crew spends a brief time outside Earth's magnetic protection and then returns. The radiation dose is real, but limited. Mars is another matter entirely. With current technology, a round trip to Mars takes somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 years, most of it spent in deep space, fully exposed. There is no Earth-like atmosphere at the destination. There is no global magnetic field on Mars to shelter beneath. The crew absorbs dose during the journey out, during their time on the surface, and during the journey home. By the time they return, if they return, they will have absorbed more radiation than any human in history. The further humans travel from Earth, the longer they remain exposed. And the longer they remain exposed, the more the odds shift. This is why shielding is one of the hardest problems in human spaceflight. The obvious solution, thick walls, runs straight into the limits of physics. Every kilogram of shielding must be lifted out of Earth's gravity, and that costs enormous amounts of fuel. But mass is only part of the problem. When a high-energy particle strikes a shield, it can shatter atoms in the material itself, producing a shower of secondary radiation new particles, traveling inward, sometimes more harmful than the one that caused them. A poorly designed shield can make the problem worse. Some particles, especially the heaviest and most energetic cosmic rays, are so powerful that no practical thickness of aluminium or steel can stop them. Engineers are exploring water walls, hydrogen-rich plastics, magnetic shields modeled on Earth's own, and even shelters built into the cores of spacecraft. None of these solutions are complete. All of them are compromises. Radiation changes the real limits of human exploration. It sets a ceiling on how long a mission can last. It shapes where we can build deep space stations and how they must be designed. It narrows the windows when travel between planets is safe. It influences the age, the sex, and the prior exposure of the crews we send. It constrains the dream of humans living on Mars, in orbital colonies, or in the outer solar system, not because we lack the will, but because biology has its limits. Every further step outward makes the problem harder, not linearly, but steadily and without mercy. In the end, the greatest threat in space may not be the one we imagined. It is not the vacuum, it is not the cold, It is not the distance, or the silence, or the machines that might fail. It is something we cannot see, something we cannot hear, something we cannot feel in the moment it reaches us. A quiet, invisible pressure, passing through the body year after year, rewriting the smallest parts of us without asking. Space does not stop anyone at the door. It lets us in. And then, very slowly, it decides how far we are allowed to go. Radiation slips through everything unnoticed. A like and a subscribe don't. If you enjoyed this one, that's the simplest way to say so and to make sure the next one reaches you.